moments. First, this gathering is similar to what we do and encourage in the global customs community through the platform of the World Customs Organization that encourages us to meet regularly like this, share best practices, and cooperate to promote customs administrations in the world. We therefore identify with the platform provided by PMOCA, and we want to wish you a successful deliberations. When stakeholders across all of Africa gathered together to discuss an issue that is germane to African development, we all must give it the support that is necessary. We all believe that trade is very central to development. Trade fosters prosperity. And of course, when you have economic development and prosperity, we can be rest assured that there would be peace and security. We also want to appreciate the fact that this kind of platform provides us the opportunity to collaborate across board. As we are going to be seeing, we cannot implement the Continental Free Trade Agreement without a very strong synergy and bond between all the stakeholders that are involved in it. And finally, implementation of AFTA resonates very, very strongly with the policy thrust of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has identified the port space as very critical to its economic agenda in terms of decongesting the port, creating employment, and attracting foreign direct investments. So therefore, all the critical elements that should make this very memorable are there. The theme is very apt, the timing is very great, the venue is good, and our people are hospitable. We therefore, over the next 2 or 3 days, in for a very good time, and on behalf of all of us, je vous dis bienvenue aux delegates, and encore, je vous souhaite bon séjour au Nigeria. Thank you.
Makes the formulation of policies for the optimum utilization of waters for the growth of our economies expedient. My administration is especially interested in the maritime industry. This was why we created the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy in the first instance. I'm convinced that the quick wins we urgently need to create opportunities that will turn our youth bulge into a demographic dividend lies in our maritime and blue economy sectors. Even though we have physical national boundaries that separate us, the waters are a natural source of connectivity, and they seem like a subtle providential message that we must work together for the good of all our countries. This is why there could be no better time than now to hold this conference. The theme of the conference, the role of ports in the African Continental Free Trade Area, is itself a testament of the determination of the organizers to collectively seek sustainable solutions to the challenges that port operations face on the continent. After the issues of adequate security and transparency, the one other important factor deciding the competitiveness of ports is the seamlessness and efficiency with which cargoes are evacuated to and from the ports. This, without doubt, is an area in which port operations in Africa needs a lot of intervention. Of course, there are ongoing discussions in Nigeria and other African countries on the expediency of urgently investing in infrastructure and equipment to support trade facilitation. Meetings like this put the issues in proper perspective and serve as an avenue for the generation of ideas that will aid our national government formulate effective policies. As a government that believes in the necessity of infusing information technology into public management to aid transparency and ease business processes, we are giving the Nigerian Port Authority all the backing necessary to fast-track the operationalization of the port community system, which is a precursor to the implementation of the Nigerian single window, because we are persuaded that full automation is the only way to go if we plan to remain competitive in the global maritime industry. I want to implore you all, as participants in this noble conference, to see yourselves as people opportune to stand in positions of responsibility on behalf of Africa. I say this because the maritime sector, wherein you are fortunate to be active shareholders and stakeholders, is not only central to the facilitation of trade, but to the total integration of Africa for even development. I look forward to a fruitful outcome from which all of Africa will benefit. On this note, it is my pleasure to declare the 43rd Annual Conference and 18th Managing Director Roundtable of the Port Management Association of West and Central Africa open. I wish you very fruitful deliberations. God bless you.
All of us at the Nigerian Ports Authority are greatly delighted to host this regional meeting of like minds, which is aimed at maximizing the potentials of our rich maritime endowments. The theme of this occasion, which is the role of ports in African continental free trade, speaks to the frontline responsibility of ports in trade facilitation value chain. The need to translate our marine competitive advantages into opportunities for collective prosperity of our respective countries has never been more pressing than it is now. As I had hinted earlier in my electronically transmitted welcome message, the demonstrated global leadership of ports in the contributions to the Sustainable Development Goals shows that the sustainability of the world, especially Africa, rests heavily on the sustainability of our ports. Apart from being linked by water, countries in West and Central Africa are linked by challenges and multiple opportunities. Therefore, given the increasing realization of the leverage that economic cooperation confers in the international arena, we will be doing great disservice to ourselves if we fail to maximize this unity through the cooperation of our ports. The specific objectives of AFTA, which includes the progressive elimination of tariff and non-tariff barriers to trade in goods, liberalization of trade in services, and cooperation among others, is pregnant with a lot of opportunities for wealth creation and prosperity, which I'm convinced this conference will equip us to safely midwife for the benefit of our respective national economies, with domino effect on the economy of the sub-region if our ports cooperate. As an organization that appreciates the catalytic role of PMOCA in promoting ports cooperation, the Nigerian Ports Authority will continue to embrace partnerships and support policies and actions steps arising from the insightful policy shaping meetings and technical sessions that will dominate the next few days of this session. The visionary creation of the new Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy to supervise the Nigerian Ports Authority by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the clarion call for more audacious initiatives which were made last week by the Honorable Minister, His Excellency Adeboyega Oyetola, during the commissioning of our newly constructed Mission to Seafarers facility, has re-energized our resolve to invest more in order to harness more ideas from operational think tanks such as PMOCA. I would like to specifically commend the PMOCA Secretariat for sustaining this annual platform of cross-fertilization of ideas and knowledge sharing for mutual development of our respective countries and advancement of global trade. Before I take my seat, let me allow us to deliberate, and I would like us to brood upon the seminal and wise statement of a global statesman, Franklin D. Roosevelt, who says, "Competition has shown to be useful up to a certain point and no more. But cooperation, which is the thing we must strive for today, begins where competition leaves off." Once again, I would like to welcome the heads of other ports and the over 300 delegates from 24 African countries who have graced this occasion. I thank you very much, and I wish us good deliberations. Thank you.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Honorable Minister for Marine and Blue Economy, Okonjo-Iweala, the President of Port Management Association of West and Central Africa, Mr. Martin Buyukoma, the Managing Director, Nigerian Port Authority, Mr. Mohamed Bello Koko. Ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on other existing protocol. It gives me a great pleasure to be part of this event, being the 34th Annual Council meeting on the Port Management Association of West and Central Africa. On behalf of our Group Chairman and Board of Directors, we join our long-term partner, Nigerian Port Authority, in welcoming all participants. Your focus for this year, which is ports and the African Continental Free Trade Area, it's really of interest to my organization. Because over the years, our group has been a keen collaborator with governments, particularly in West Africa, in promoting this concept of free trade zones. Based on our experience, there is no doubt that the concept has impacted positively in port operation and development due to the incentives granted in the free trade zones and the ease of doing business promoted by the applicable regulation. We believe that the recent agreement on African Continental Free Trade Area will be a further boost for the maritime industry in Africa. Our group has been involved in business in the maritime industry for over 40 years, with our flagship company in Nigeria being Intels Nigeria Limited. Intels is the leading provider of a wide range of top-quality logistics support facilities and service to operators in the maritime industry in Nigeria. Over the years, we have collaborated with the Nigerian Port Authority to undertake remarkable development of port infrastructure and facility in the ports where we operate. Please, I will share with you some of the slides which will highlight our journey so far and where we are presently. This is just not to advertise my company, but to show the impact that the free area can do on the business and the development of the activity in the various countries. Just a second to move on my presentation. Okay. Here we are. It's not working?